The ceremonial halls of the Veltharian Empire gleamed with crystalline structures that pulsed with bioluminescent energy. Princess Lixa sat in her mobility chair, watching potential suitors from across the galaxy examine her younger sisters with calculating eyes. The annual bonding selection had drawn nobles, warriors, and diplomats from dozens of species, all seeking advantageous marriages with the royal family. Lixa's twisted spine and weakened legs had marked her as unsuitable since birth. While her sisters possessed the traditional Veltharian beauty, tall, graceful forms with iridescent skin that shifted between silver and blue, Lixa's body bore the genetic anomaly that affected 1 in 10 million of her kind. Her parents loved her, but political necessity demanded they focus their attention on daughters who could secure military alliances through marriage. "The Arcturian delegation seems interested in Princess Vera," whispered her attendant, an elderly elf named Kira, who had served the royal family for centuries. The elf's pointed ears twitched as she observed the proceedings with keen intelligence. Lixa nodded absently, her attention drawn to a small group near the entrance. 3 beings had just arrived. 2 elves in flowing robes that marked them as ambassadors from the forest worlds, and a human female in simple but well-tailored clothing. The human stood out immediately, not just because her species was still relatively new to galactic politics, but because she seemed genuinely uninterested in the spectacle around her. While others evaluated the princesses like prize cattle, the human woman studied the architecture, the cultural displays, and the intricate tapestries that told the history of the Veltharian people. Her brown hair was pulled back in a practical ponytail, and her green eyes held an intelligence that reminded Lixa of scholars rather than fortune seekers. "Who is the human?" Lixa asked. Kira consulted her data tablet. "Ambassador Rebecca Morgan from Earth. She's here representing the Terran Federation, though they're not actively seeking marriage alliances. More of a cultural exchange, according to the records." The evening progressed with the usual rituals. Potential suitors presented gifts, performed traditional dances from their homeworlds, and engaged in carefully scripted conversations with the eligible princesses. Lixa watched from her designated area, a section designed to keep her visible enough to satisfy protocol, while ensuring she wouldn't accidentally be approached by confused diplomats. As the formal presentations concluded, guests mingled freely throughout the hall. Lixa had begun to maneuver her chair toward the exit when footsteps approached. She looked up to find the human ambassador standing before her. "Your Highness," Rebecca said, offering a respectful bow that acknowledged Lixa's rank without the exaggerated deference most showed to placate the royal family. "I was hoping we might speak." "I'm afraid there's been some mistake," Lixa replied carefully. "My sisters are the ones participating in the selection." "No mistake." Rebecca pulled up a chair, an action that caused several nearby nobles to gasp at the breach of protocol. "I've been studying Veltharian culture for months in preparation for this visit. Your people value intellectual achievement and artistic expression alongside physical prowess, correct?" Lixa nodded, uncertain where this conversation was leading. "I've read your published works on quantum linguistics and your theoretical framework for cross-species communication. Your research has influenced translation protocols throughout human space." Rebecca leaned forward slightly. "I was also told you composed the symphonic piece that's playing right now." Heat rose in Lixa's cheeks as she recognized her own composition flowing through the hall's acoustic systems. Few people knew she had written it. The royal family typically credited such works to court musicians to avoid drawing attention to their disabled daughter's accomplishments. "You seem well informed about matters that most consider irrelevant," Lixa said. "Irrelevant?" Rebecca laughed, a genuine sound that cut through the artificial politeness surrounding them. "Your sister Vera speaks 4 languages adequately. You've created a universal translation matrix that works for 37 different species. Your sister Maya can pilot a starfighter. You've designed navigation algorithms that have reduced hyperspace travel time by 15%. How exactly is that irrelevant?" Before Lixa could respond, her father's voice echoed through the hall, calling for attention. The formal selection was about to begin, where interested parties would declare their intentions and present formal proposals. "I should go," Lixa murmured, beginning to move her chair. "Wait." Rebecca stood but didn't move away. "Princess Lixa of House Velthar, I formally request permission to court you." The hall fell silent. Conversations stopped mid-sentence as every being present turned to stare at the unprecedented scene. Lixa's heart pounded so hard she was certain everyone could hear it. "You don't understand," Lixa whispered. "I can't give you what others expect. From such an arrangement, I can't bear children easily. I can't stand at state ceremonies. I can't—" "Can you think?" Rebecca interrupted gently. "Yes, but can you create? Can you solve problems that others can't? Can you see connections that brilliant minds miss?" Rebecca's voice remained steady despite the attention of hundreds of powerful beings. "Because that's what I'm looking for in a partner. Not a decorative ornament or a breeding platform, but an equal. Someone who challenges me intellectually and shares my curiosity about the universe." Lixa stared at her, searching for deception or pity in those green eyes. She found neither. Instead, she saw something she had never expected to see directed at her: genuine admiration. "The Terran Federation doesn't need military alliances through marriage," Rebecca continued. "We need something more valuable: knowledge, innovation, and partnerships built on mutual respect. Your research could revolutionize how our species communicate with each other. Your insights could prevent the misunderstandings that lead to wars." Emperor Velthar approached, his expression unreadable. "Ambassador Morgan, you understand that Princess Lixa's condition makes her extraordinary, Your Majesty," Rebecca said firmly. "On Earth, we have a saying, different isn't broken, it's just different. Princess Lixa isn't disabled. She's differently enabled, and she's accomplished more from that chair than most beings do with perfect health." The Emperor looked at his daughter, seeing her properly for perhaps the first time in years. Lixa sat straighter, her usual shame replaced by something she had thought lost forever: hope. "If Her Highness is willing," Rebecca said, "I would be honored to explore what we might build together." Lixa looked around the hall at the assembled nobles and diplomats, many of whom appeared stunned by this turn of events. Then she looked at Rebecca, who waited patiently for an answer without a trace of doubt in her expression. "Yes," Lixa said, her voice growing stronger with each word. "Yes, I would like that very much." For the first time in her life, Princess Lixa had been chosen not despite her differences, but because of them. And in that moment, she realized that sometimes the most profound connections come from the most unexpected places.